Hi, I'm Rick Wood. This section covers safety in a metallurgical lab. Most procedures in the lab are relatively safe, but there are some precautions that you should keep in mind to make sure that you work safely. First, you need safety glasses with side shields and safety shoes. You should remove any watches, bracelets, rings, necklaces that are hanging down, anything that might get caught up in what you're doing. Pull back and secure long hair. Fingernails should be trimmed, and remove artificial nails. Gloves are not recommended so that you can feel what you're doing. But having said that, keep in mind that these parts could have sharp edges. Broken parts might have jagged edges. Cut parts could have clean edges. If something slips out of your hands, let it go. If you try to catch it, you could cut your hand. Abrasive cutoff machines are recommended for the final cuts on softer metals and are required for all cuts on harder metals. The abrasive cutoff machines today are enclosed. They won't run unless the hood is down. So, we place the part to be cut in the two vices, lower the hood securely, don't open the hood until the wheel has stopped rotating. Be careful when you handle these parts because there are sharp edges. After sectioning, some parts need to be rough ground. Rough grinding is done either on a belt or on a disc grinder. The thing to remember is not to abrade your fingertips. This won't cut your fingers, but it will wear them off. You'll feel it. If you happen to drop the part while grinding, stop the belt or the disc before retrieving it. Clean the grinder when you're done. Maintain it per manufacturer recommendations, and if it needs repair, that should be done by qualified personnel only. The next step is to encapsulate the section into a plastic mount for ease of handling and to reduce the edge retention. One thing to keep in mind is that this could be hot. It operates at 150 degrees centigrade, so it may be hot even if it looks cold. Never look down a jammed press. If something's catching, don't look, because if it unjams itself, it's going to hit you in the face. Remove the sharp edges and any flash from here before grinding and polishing. Remove it on the back face so that you don't cut your fingers. Remove it on the front face so that, particularly during polishing, it's not going to grab and rip the cloth. Repair should be done by qualified personnel only. The next step after mounting is fine grinding and polishing. Manual grinding is done on grinding strips. Polishing is done on polishing wheels that have polishing cloths on them. If you happen to drop this while you're polishing it, stop the rotating wheel before you pick up the mount. And as with anything else, repair should be done by qualified personnel only. Etchants are used to bring out the structure of the metal. When handling concentrated acids, you should use a full face shield, gloves, and an apron in a fume hood. Locate the emergency shower and eye wash nearest the fume hood and always add acid to the water or the alcohol. Otherwise, you may get a violent reaction. When handling mixed etchants, safety glasses are required. Gloves are also required, except in the case of nitol. Dilute solutions, 3, 5, up to 10% nitric acid in water or alcohol can be handled with your bare hands. Always use a fume hood. If there's a sink in the fume hood, you should run water. Most microetchants are used at warm or room temperature. Some macroetchants are used hot, upwards of 80 degrees C. When using hot macroetchants, you should use the full face shield, gloves, and apron. When heat treating parts, you need the proper protective equipment. Gloves, a full face shield, protective clothing when required, assistance to have someone else open the furnace door. You need tongs, and one thing to keep in mind is that you have to work quickly because you want to test at temperature. Finally, cleanliness is very important in the Met Lab. We're going from nasty, dirty parts to literally microscopically clean. So it's important to keep the parts clean, keep your hands clean, and keep the area clean. Do not bring food into the Met Lab. Any beverage that's brought in should be covered. Last, housekeeping. It's better just to work clean. Keep the benches and the floor uncluttered. Clean up any spills on the floor, particularly in the fume hood, and clean them and put away any equipment when you're done with it. Follow the established rules and procedures and recommendations for your particular lab, and keep good notes.